Inside Story Uganda, real source of political updates. Inside Story Uganda.
Akasajja ke yatta kakijja nangoma kalinga kalalu kasajja kalema kali awo kamuvumanga oyagala mukomugundi Queen Mother go wasene muganda wange. The Batolo elders said it's against our tradition to subject a kabaka's body for post-mortem. Saving Katulam.
Yes.
Why did Katulam quarrel with this man? Bwabako going to Yagala Queen Mother. Ono yakwata ebisumuluzo yakulirawo.
Oli yagenda.
Achembuza yakugulirawo. Ya stretching amagulu. Kati omwagaza ki?
Muveko.
Igino wa him yagenda kumutta. Nti radio tolo net bya Bwakabaka. Provoking him. Instead of ignoring this man, has he spent how many years in the prison?
Very many years.
Yes, ignore. Nabagamba nti bwemba mubaga ente enzibe akabone kajjanga kaboggola babo nemukakanyugira ennyama nekaganda mudduke kubanga kagenda kuyita n'abalala. Nabagamba nti abavumbo abagezi omwana asobola okuwaganyala mu katanda ssebo nemujjako ettala naga mugizeeko ate njagala kusula na mami. What do you do? Kati mukube n'abeemirirano bawulire nti omwana mukuba waaki. You know how to learn how to handle stubborn boy. Omwana wanyandiri mu katanda bamukola ayinza okulemesa parliament okutuula nga waganyedde mu katanda yalowooza yalisemba galanda yeyaso sigane banno bawaganyala mu katanda. When somebody provokes you, ignore him. Muignore gajja kuleta Mirundi yabaliti ebizibu babatti. Ignore him.
Mirundi muveko mujja kula ebizibu byabwerere.
Yes.
Era bangi babifunye.
Yes. Ignore this man.
Nebakwekwasiza.
Muleke abaganda batugamba nti omukazi anakuviirako ebizibu baana akutta abaako n'ekintu ky'omulabamu. Banno bakugamba bava ku mukamu nno nedda babambi fuluko twala byonna omusajja w'ejjinja ayina abakazi bana bamuga akola ne mukamu nne va ku mukamu nno musajja teyamute ayibajja mubona na manisirot myaka 7 amali yeji
akombo yenga mulamu
adine ku bakazi bono
abasatu
anti kakati omukazi ono yabulira yabulira ono nti balali ku mukazi wo
ali bana abasatu abamulekedde ku
exactly fair. When somebody provokes you, know him. Kayira kuba mukuleetedde omufiireko. Kakati nkugamba nti bakubye Kadaga n'abantu ne babuuza Kadaga bamwagazaaki lwaki tebamuleka kati Kadaga azuka more powerful butamuvaako abaganda kita kubojja ku luwonzi
kati bano byakonyekonye abomuseeka abo yakonyekonye
nkugambye nti n'ekigongo atayogera kigongo is very constitutive is silent except yawandika ebbaluwa nga yanukula nankabi tetunatuulako. What does this mean?
Seeke tetuulanga
abasajja abakulu bali ne Kadaga abagala ensi gyeraga bano ababaka ba palamenti abapya abazze mwale mu bannyonnyola togikwatako si yabasuula kakati bano abapya bategedde nti being flatterers, being hunting dogs for people who cannot even stand and address 6 people tugwa ne bafuna ekyokulabirako nti why is it that these people, the so-called rebel MPs, win
every time
ono omusajja mbwatekamu nava mu constituency n'alaga mwe n'abakubirayo mbatekamu baali bamusaddeko miliyoni ebi ababbi ne bazisena ne bazirya ezireeta bazitwalawo ate myesa ina kyetamanyi. Nkugamba nti Kadaga yagamba nti ekifo kye Honorable Sam Kuteesa yakyagala. Nkugamba secondly, Sam Kuteesa did not react to accusations that he was eyeing the speakership. Having elected the President of the United Nations General Assembly Kutesa would have resigned from active politics because serving foreign affairs minister was unattainable. Toyinza kubeera president wa Gondi wa UN General Assembly noddamu nobeera minister. Kati ate okola Kutesa Foundation netandika kuyamba bantu.
Yabibeeramu awo byonna nasooka abiraaliramu.
Ejja kubisanga nga abivudde.
Yasooka n'abiremeremu awo n'abibeeramu nga n'ebikumpi bisatu.
Kakati nkugamba. However, for Kutesa there were very few options. In Africa, status is reflected in the political office you have. Secondly, Africa does not regard lobbyists highly, as it is the case in USA. Nkakano kibale n'entwe yako n'entwe kagenza okubba abachina nga bakalobyeyo. Tekali demonstrator obusinzeka kankolako tape naye ateko kafulumye n'entwe twero bukavaako ennyuma. Nkugamba, there were no options. Lobbyists in Africa tebali regarded like in USA. Other options would include the vice presidency, prime minister, and speaker. This is why reports alleging that Kutesa was interested in the speakership were taken seriously. Kadaga knows the difference between political status and political power. Kadaga, as speaker, heads one of the pillars of the state, which is parliament. She controls her own budget and she is free compared to the vice president, who doesn't. Therefore, Kadaga could not accept any other appointment. Kadaga is a chemi. I know color. Color and Jimmy is substance. Ntintwala mu advisors. Abali ekikumi abamutu bayinanga tabalutu bayina gaali. I don't fit there. Byabasajja bakulu amaya no demand.
Advisors.
Sigendayo.
Ate bano bebale.
Andi sigendayo.
Bamulimu gwabe gwawe.
Sijja kugendayo kubanga ongobye ku kiri. Nonteeke anda tumwebaze sigenda. Omwana yenna alibeera omugezi mulabira. Omwana alibeera omugezi omulabira ku bintu ebyo. Omwana alibeera omugezi bw'oba omuyonsa ebbeere n'oli mujjako n'oli muzzaako n'oli mujjako alirumu anyiiga. Yes, the Baganda add nti omwana ali wa maama we amuyonse nga lagitadde mukama. Aliba ali wa maama we ebintu nga akoze bw'oba omuyonse nga lagiteeke engalo mukama. Baganda very observant. Ekyokubiri, omwana yenna omugezi bw'omukwasa essimu najja n'agikwata oba ekintu kyonna n'omukuba n'omuleetera ekirala kikanyuka. Lwaki bwe nkwata ku kino tebankuba? Lwaki bwe nkwata ku kino bankuba? Kino ddole tekirimu. Oba onkubye ku spokesperson bwa president nga ngenda mu president's office. Kwegamba omuntu omufumbo yenna omugezi alina okumanya ti if you are pushed from the material room ne bakutwala mu ddiro you will visitor. You will end up in the kitchen, you will end up in the toilet. Design here. Togenda. Kati tokkiriza okuva mu matrimonial room. N'ogenda mu ddiiro. You will visitor. You will end up in the toilet. Lemera wano.
Mulwaniraawo.
Gende woomweba.
Oba omusajja afuluma yabafuluma.
Era bano ekibajoogesa tebalina. Bano ekibajoogesa bano basakwa ne bamukwata mu yiso. They don't have the cost of resistance. I can educate my children. Zitubinkola. Nti ate omaze okunkuba n'onswaza okutunda ekizimbe ejjinja. Omaze okitunda ejjinja. Bali yekwanye noonya ntadde wali nti ompita aleeta appointment letter. Ennyondo mu mutwe. Once we fall apart, we are falling apart. We can do other things.
Reconciliation
tebaayo. Anti nkugambye nti mweno situation ojja kuddamu onjooge. Kakati tegeerera ddala nti ejjoogo lye wange terikolayo. Kankube ebiraka mu mpale naye nga sikomyewo nakukola na buvubuka buno. Punsimuka bbuli ne muggulu. But for me I have the costs. I live a simple life. My family is united. Nina demand that do I have a loan in a bank? Bibajooga bano ne bajooga embwa. Ne bagikanyuka kasasiro ne bagijjayo. Omwana aluga nti ma I can help you nga bwenkola kati. I don't have a job in the government, but I help the president. Nobody has supported Museveni and explaining his
programs.
Yes. I don't need to have a government job.
Okola proxy.
Sigende yo. Akakasente kenkimanyi kwa simu. Balina okukaleeta. Bwe batakaleeta ndi obuwuka. Kasimu. nkugamba the planners also failed to understand the other undercurrent forces. Kadaga bali tebakimanyi. Furthermore, the anti-Kadaga forces failed to undermine her using her poor health background, pointing to her health and that she was sick, could not work because sickness is human. In fact, it won her supporters. Finally, it seems there were several other underground forces. Waliwo forces yebakuba. Second, bayagala bamujjewombo bawe Kadaga over voice. Second, last one is the only who survived an assault in Masaka. Ani ya mnyama. Baleta akawala kakube Amelia shambani. Bakawa sente mpizi. Nitumweba zinga ajo. Never batamu over minister. Alifira mbibira byekomo. If not European jails. Kangeza katadde abantu katadde sente kajoge kada. Kakube simu. Has Amelia failed gwe? Mutani wakajija akube muwala wa Kulubya. Akawala bakadduse emisinde kalaga mu education kadde wabu wakoje kavu. Ani yayamba Nantaba. There was ani yayamba Byandala. Ani yayamba Mukasa Mululu. That's why I said waliwo force bano gibali tebamanyi. Byandala nga yakaba amaziga. Anti kakati era mu hearing muno bwana bwe bwa sente kudolo ajja kububetenta. Bajja kububetenta. Bajja kutunda ebintu byabo. Nokuba Byandala n'omutunza buli kamu konna ng'oluguudo lwe katusimu mu Lubbi. Bajja kubufundiza bakafunzaki. Baba kilometers mu Take for example attempts to defeat Nantaba and Amelia Chambadde that flopped. Even Vice President Edward Kiwanuka II bounced back. His political enemies had written his obituary. However, second survived an opposition assault. All of the other NRM candidates in the Masaka district were trounced by the opposition. In my opinion, the opposition calculation was that second's defeat would create a vacancy which Museveni would have used to appoint Kadaga as the vice president. No, Kadaga cannot accept to be vice president.
But second has been a credible person.
Yanti ye character yendala. Uyunaka second nga vice president. Baleta consignment ya T-shirt. Never was a nakale. Should we create boss for vice naga? Don't create only those of the ngani agenda nti Kadaga abayesarenda
baganda bali bakanye kiko kyabwe
agenda mu state house bwe baba ati kumufuka ku mutwe bamuninya ko
aga kiko kyabaganda bakatoliki
togenda yo gende wokola ebintu
banadamu ne bakifuna
nkugamba nti the president defended at this time. He pointed out that allowing the two to tear themselves apart undermined their future relationship if both of them bounced back into their respective positions. I gave the example of Finance Minister Matia Kasaija, who simply intervened in the National Security Fund leadership wrangles where Yarugaba was fighting with his deputy Nassari. Action demonstrated that the leadership NRM failure to find a solution, not to allow these people to tear themselves apart. It demonstrated that the leadership of NRM had lost in Kadaga. The NRM further allowed the continuation of negative articles about Kadaga. Lastly, the election was delayed, fueling more media battles. The president came out and said that he was not supporting any of the two candidates, but his clarification came on the heels of Kadaga's statement that he had the backing of the president. Kadaga provoked Museveni. Museveni's statement helped Kadaga. Nkugamba. The president defended his decision that he was not supporting any of the two. That doing so would divide the party. He wanted to avoid the mistakes of Moi that torn Kano apart. Moi used it for Ukuru, but he has a strategy. Ebyama nyinti galete omushuku y'omutogo afuga to provoke the opposition to Burundi kibachi akozina y'emyaka mwenda.
Musajja
Moi is a tricky work. Successfully. The Kenyans don't vote in nani Kikuyu. Icho mu Kenya bakimanyi. once you are bringing ono chobola bakulu alwana nirayira amutunde bachikuyu eyakekoyo does not vote nani kikuyu
bakisalawo
ekyo baki
Lwaki
kati yaleeta omukikuyu omuto obukulu n'aprovokinga bali entubbato nabo ne baleeta omukikuyu omukadde
alejekera bamba minority
mbu yalabanga kiba kyagenze n'agamba ono omwana kano giveemu n'obwa chairman genda ewalala kiba kinaamu obwaki obwa minister wa finance and deputy prime minister kakati muiwa he tweaked the opposition by supporting gwe yali akoze naye emyaka 9 kuba politics omumanyi nti muyihumiliated baki gwe tobikola nkugamba nti actually the president by Kadaga by claiming that she had the backing of Museveni, whom she was accused of being fighting, she was provoking Museveni to declare his stand over the matter. Museveni's statement collected Kadaga more support. The Orania team had accused Kadaga of disloyalty when she deviated from the party position with the gloves off. The center could no longer hold it. In fact, the country needs, I'm writing 8 years ago. I'm writing 8 years ago. In fact, the country needs independent institutions, not rubber stamp or puppets. The reason for this is that Ugandans have developed a strong feeling that a group of people have usurped the powers of the president. Therefore, it is not Museveni, the president, who wants rubber stamp state institutions, but this underground government that is operating within. It is interesting that Urania did not run for the election of the Chief Justice, where Deputy Justice Kavuma, who had been acting in capacity, lost to Katulebe because Kavuma was a royalist.
By standards,
yes. Abantu bayugala bakyayagala nti gweyinza okugula ku musawo Muganda ekibanja aga nti kwabaddeko muwanga genda omuwabi. Ugandans don't want people who are puppets of others. In fact, kati mu Africa, the moment they say nti gwe oyagala ki ofugibwa mukazi abaganda mu Africa baagala okusula baga nti yali kuntoli za mukazi yamufuga. Nobody wants to be ruled by proxy. Ranya has failed to ward off this accusation that is not himself, and somebody gets audited. Once I work with Ranya and give him money, kakati gwe tufugibwana lubali nenkugamba nti the Kadaga team made another good strategy. They changed the NRM election rules without the party leadership realizing. Kadaga's woes were blamed on her independence. In order to demonstrate this, opposition MPs, civil society, moved in, and each candidate, including Yoranya, who was sure of NRM numbers, solicited the support from the opposition, making the NRM numerical strength irrelevant. We want a speaker who cuts across. We want a speaker. Yes. We want a speaker who cuts across. Nkugamba. It is a parliament. Nabagamba. Nti Museveni is known to respect the public opinion. This is why he lost to Kadaga. In my book, Understanding Mafia Politics, published in 2012, I pointed out that the executive had lost to parliament as far as the perception was concerned. I observed that the parliament had usurped the powers of the executive.
True.
Nkugamba. Why? It is a parliament in the driving of public affairs. It is a parliament that is censoring corrupt government officials, including powerful ministers. Parliament can handle people perceived to be so close to the president, like in the oil debate that shook the government. It is a parliament that seeks accountability from government and questioning human rights violations. Parliament even handles wrangles in the markets where the responsible ministers or local authorities have failed. Okuzaayo obutale n'obusasula. Baronda Olanya committee. I don't know that Olanya forgotten that he was the person who investigated the market and recommended that the Basajja Balaba should be paid. How did the parliament find itself in the market language where the minister of local government executive the president would have just ordered the minister of local government solve this, but because these ministers tebabikola era parliament vet abo nabannankabirwa ekibazinisa twist ng'omukira gw'ente ogwagulalu nti bamanyi nti amanya gaabwe bwe bagatwalayo tajja gayisamu ajja gayisamu is a liberal woman megatoluma and you see the joke with Basoga gundi bwe twali tulonda president wa Uganda Obote yali akimanyi Nadiope gwe baagala omusoga bwe bali baagala vice president. Obote had his interests ng'ayagala kuba Muteesa. Bwe balangira obwa president nabagamba bwe baleeta erinnya lya Muteesa ate connection yagaana okulonda yagamba oyo siyinza mulondola abadde independence ya Uganda nikyo nekiyalonda obustain agamba nti sirabyewo gwe nnonda kakati baba bamaze okulonda Muteesa okubeera vice president manyi okubeera president wa Uganda. Nadiope yasituka mu ntebe ye n'akwata Obote ebitugi mu parliament. Obote and then created the post of vice president. Nadiope yali amuti parliament. Omusoga omuyita wakuzanya. Lwaki Abaganda bagamba abasoga bamputu bakobyedde abasoga bamputu no they are independent minded. Omuganda bwe yagenda ng'ebusoga okunyagayo ebintu nga bw'otika omusoga n'omukazi we n'omutika tava omukuba omutti. All of the tough district commissioners were taken to Busoga. It was a colonial bond. The colonialists found out that the Busoga were not easy people. They created the Chabazinga in 1919. Chabazinga is a creation of the British because the colonial government could not deal with the 5 stubborn Busoga leaders. Let us create a Chabazinga, Okuzinga, Zingevani. Abasoga bayita bakuzanya omuganda singa engalabi ye yagiddusiza dda abasajja bakutta abasajja bajja kutta abasajja bajja kutta omuganda singa sejjembe ye yagiddusiza dda omuganda singa yadduse dda bamuyise erubaga bamuyise erudda ate ate yaba mufere nnyo aba mubisi nnyo abakulu bagambye nzolaba nsoma mu kyaki sigendayo kumpabira I don't go there sigendayo akube kakati nkugamba nti this is why people like those are stupid fellows ambikira waliwo this is why aina diro ya bilioni this is why people like Ogwal Maria Matembe and opposition figures joined the battle. Museveni is known to respect public opinion. This is why Olanya lost to Kadaga. Kakati nkugamba nti Kadaga ekirala ekyamuweesa amaanyi nabagamba in this same book Understanding Mafia Politics I pointed out that an LC1 chairperson who believes in mob justice is always more popular than the one who believes in the law. It is a blind loyalty to the executive that had undermined Edward II's power as a speaker. This taught Kadaga a big lesson and elevated herself from the attitude of her former boss. Thirdly, the handling of the rebel MPs and the Kadaga more support when she rejected the party resolution to get them out of parliament. The party position was that once a member is stripped of party membership, he loses or loses her parliamentary seat. Kadaga, who is a member of the executive committee of the party, supported the two laws. He did not oppose the resolution, but he refused to implement it as a speaker. Wonderful. Wonderful. She did not oppose.
It was a good strategy.
As NRM leader, he wanted discipline in the party. But Speaker, he did something else.
Nagamba the secretary and the group.
Yes.
The state.
Yes. What if she went to parliament voting out? This is a problem of playing two roles. So it is one role. The so-called MPs and the public trust and the popularity soured, they were seen as the voice of reason in the party, which was being threatened by an internal dictatorship. Kadaga created a chamber in the parliament to accommodate them. Her decision was upheld by the Supreme Court, and the rebels in inverted commas retained their seats. Yes. Kakati kankulage mbolanya bibazemu bannankabe. Omanyi gundi yagamba. Gundi amanya museka. Amanya museka yagamba. Amanya museka yagamba. Nti history does not repeat itself. Fools repeat mistakes other fools made in the past. But as a political scientist, I know history does not repeat itself, but a similar situation emerges with the different key players, because politics is dictated by same principles. Great power, retain it, consolidate it, borrow control.
Borrow control.
Government is not going to be
borrow control.
The difference is methodology. Yes, even in highly developed societies, there is no limit for political parties in America. Political parties don't have term limits. It's the leaders. That's why, Bakuboza, you are vice president. Are you interested in the presidency? Era principle jitwajijeyo so omuntu afanana sekandi nti the Americans tell you don't overshadow your boss. You will shine during your time. Bakulese kubeera amperekezi. Tokisinga mugole musajja. Bakulese bwa besimani. Leka kuba mugole ka. Era nza abasajja mbewunya. Ndi mukazi wange Metroni. Nakumba n'omusajja omukidala sikikuba kutaka. Ababbawe kwolo. Kati gwe tokolanga ambaga. Bano ne beefaanana ne beekuba mu peya. Iwangu jokole nti mukazi wange singa wa mugole achogede mubira we kotuka bakazi wange tibabikola ebyo metro nisinga wambaga jango chogerere wange zikalewo ne mbwanzite bemba okozo mukyala ate talina baana bagira bamwita senga bakola ko ndi gonde ndi mukazi wa ino omwana omukulu gwe yazaale ewalala ajja genda Lwakuna ng'embaga ya Lwamukaga genda naye mu church ate bwe bagamba nti bakadde b'omwana bayimirire owange tayimirira oli mukoli yayimirira kyaki kiyinza kyaki emanye etya nti n'owa yayendako yazaalako ebbali it cannot happen. I laugh at these men. Oba bwavu oba kiki I cannot understand. Kyala yagenda omanyi muwalawe bwe yasooka okuzaala yafumbiddwa yagenze Lwakuna nani kulokuna kola yo kyeri yakole bajja abasajja oba bakula batya nti omwana wange omulenzi afukamira mu kitala gye yagenze okuwasa anti mbalaba ku byuma byange nabalabulade jukuba ekato kunkoza tiri kufukamira omusajja afukamirawo ubujozi bw'abana twagate nkugamba Olanya failed bid for speakership. The situation in the parliament deteriorated further by the election of the speaker and the deputy speaker. Olanya, on the other hand, generated confidence. He used his nuclear team to undermine Kadaga, pointing out that she could not manage the house because of the nature of its work. He made another blunder, Olanya, by picking only the papers of the speaker. This meant that he was sure of victory. The NRM leadership also blundered by making no effort to stop them from tearing themselves apart. I pointed out at this time that allowing the two to tear themselves apart undermined the future relationship if both of them bounced back into their respective positions, which happened. I gave the example of Finance Minister Matia Kasaija, who simply intervened in the National Security Fund leadership wrangles. The action is demonstrated in Chimaze. Kakati ne napulidikitinga wano. Ndi musaya muzibu. Ongenda kompola.
Bakama bo bakola abakuliko.
Ongenda kompola.
Nange ebyo byogerako bya 2016.
Nabagamba.
Myaka 6